again, you guys, thanks so much for coming in. And yeah, you are acoustic rock band, right?
We are.
I mean, you're pulling it off totally. Like
I've done a lot of these.
I'm sure you have. Yeah.
But I think it's something. It is a lot different than the show that people see at House of Blues tonight, but it's definitely something that we enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's nice.
The opposite end of the spectrum, I guess. So.
Right. It's good. Shows your diversity. Well, like stand-up bass is in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys rock pretty hard, but you got the stand-up bass.
Yeah, we do.
Zach's
great at that, actually. We've never had that actually appear on a Coheed record before, and Zach actually, bowed and what would you call this?
Pizzicato.
Is this pizzicato? Okay. Yeah. He's an intelligent rock musician.
He is. Do you go to Berkeley?
Not really intelligent.
not. He's a non-intelligent rock guy. Are any of you did you go through school? Like, are you Berkeley people or anything like that? This is just like in you. You did it. Started young. How early do you start as a musician to become this successful?
Oh, we all started as young kids.
Yes, kids.
We met as young kids. Probably.
Did you?
Well, Travis and Claudio have known each other pretty much like forever. So, but I met these guys. I met Claude when I was 15 from playing shows. They were from an hour south of me, which when you're 15, that's a lifetime away. You don't have a car.
Very true.
But playing shows, he would come up to Woodstock. He would take the bus up to Woodstock, and we would play shows in Woodstock, and then we would go down to Nyack to play shows in his hometown. So there was a whole community of people, of young kids in bands, which probably isn't that uncommon. It's probably pretty common, but...
Yeah, but I think, it may sound too cliche, but it was it has that.
Well, sure. Now there's nowhere really to play in Woodstock. All those places that we grew up and kind of cut our teeth or whatever the saying is are gone.
Well, that's true.
But at this time when we were kids, there was a lot of clubs to play. It was before, they were so strict with IDs, so we'd be playing bars on the weekends at 15, 16 years old.
Right.
And that's how we met. But we had already been playing for years, and we were actually in different bands, but we would play together all the time. And like I said, there was a whole community of people, and eventually I think when I was about 20, we joined up together, and the rest is history.
Is it where you are today on Radio 92.9?
Oh, golly.
It's all come to this.
I'm sorry I just said that. But that is what happened. That is the truth.
Well, you guys were rebels getting in underage and all that. Of course.
But I think to answer your question specifically, I think what year, when did you guys start playing? I was probably 10.
Right.
We were probably 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
That's probably about the same,
yeah.
12, 13.
Yeah, seems about the time when you're like,
yeah, that's
I want
it,
to do
right?
something different. Instead of just sitting in my room and got to pick up a guitar and do something else. Well, you guys have musical influences when you're that young and you're like, I'm going to start playing music. This is where I think I want to go.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Who's your initial influence?
The first thing that really spoke to me that wasn't, Vanilla Ice or Salt and Pepper
no
or
kidding,
something.
Now we're going to that age.
Was
late 80s, early 90s.
Well, you're just so afraid to not fit in. So that's what
Ice
people
Baby.
listen to. And,
I know.
Oh, I had the record.
Yeah.
Was Led Zeppelin was the first thing that I heard. My dad sat me down and said, "You need to listen to this," and I just was like, "Oh, this is gonna be horrible," but I liked it. There was something about the drums. There were always drums laying around. We all come from very musical families.
Right. I see.
Me and Travis's dad are kind of like one and the same. Hippie rockers that still play shows, and we're also great dads. But there was drums laying around. And I think for me, I wanted to hang out with the older kids. I had an older brother, and they needed a drummer. So Josh Eppard, the drummer, was born.
Yes.
So, but yeah, Led Zeppelin was like the first thing that really.
John Bonham.
Yeah, that was and to this day, I've made a career of trying to rip him off because to me, he is the greatest. And
he really is. How's it going for you?
It's going good.
You getting there?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
I'm
doing all right.
I think so. I think you're getting close. That's awesome. And what about you guys? What about you, Claudio? Do you have what's your musical influence?
Well, my mother and father were very different in terms of their tastes. I think my first experience or memory of music is just sharing car rides with them, and where my dad would listen to like blues, Latin music, and classic rock. My mother would listen to like top 40 and Motown. So just that pretty much there, I would listen to my mother sort of sing under her breath, and then I would sort of do the same thing. And I think that's sort of how I mimic, because I wouldn't sing in the car with my father, and my mother was listening to more female-oriented vocalist. So I think that's sort of how I developed that sense to go high, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
That's interesting.
But yeah, I guess like Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, and I really liked Sting growing up.
It's okay.
I think that's cool.
We have a Sting support group outside the door waiting for you.
But that was one
Sting's
song.
awesome. Wait, let's
Like
face it.
the last interview we did, that was one that I sort of brought up because it was like the one tune that I had that my dad would play every once in a while, Englishman in New York by Sting.
Sure.
And I would always ask for that song, you know, because I liked the alien part.
Yes.
But it was, you know, I thought of like extraterrestrial.
You're thinking
Of course.
alien, you know, but it was like it's
Of course you were. Yes. Nothing simple there. That's awesome. All right, I'm sure you guys have this third song that you can pull out of your quiver
yeah.
for us, please. That would be great. From Radio 92.9, Coheed and Cambria.